Hello. We got a bunch of people out there. I know excited to see. We've got our man Josh here to chat with us. Um, and so we'll get started here. I know we got a little bit of a delay, so just give it a couple seconds before we jump in here. Josh, thanks for joining me today. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks, Chris. Glad to be here. Excited about this opportunity. So, appreciate you
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah, no, I always appreciate people take time out to have these conversations. You don't have to do this, so thank you for that. It's always we get a lot of great feedback after these from the people that watch them. That you get a lot of golden nuggets out of the conversation. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. So I see we got some people starting to pile in now. So tell us where you're at. These are interactive, so make sure you're telling us where you're at. So anyone watching, just throw in the chat. City, state you're in. See what's going on. Make sure if you have any questions or anything, pop them in here throughout. Make sure we'll hit on all the topics here. As much as we're doing this for Josh, it's also for all you guys watching. So, Josh, where are you in the world?
I am just outside of Greenville, North Carolina.
Okay, it's funny. I was looking at your LinkedIn profile. I actually pulled it up, and I saw Greenville, North. I live in North Carolina, but I don't think I know where Greenville is. I
You
know
don't?
Greenville, South Carolina.
East
Where?
Carolina Pirates.
Okay. Okay.
We're about an hour west, or excuse me, hour east of Raleigh.
Okay. All right. So you're out towards the coast then.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha. All right, very cool. So yeah, I saw that on there. I'm like, I know Greenville, South Carolina, but in my defense, I only moved to North Carolina a couple years ago. It's been COVID, we've been shut down. All right, so tell me how you got into the business. What kind of interested you in the business? Where'd you kind of was that something you always wanted to do, or was it something that just kind of came along eventually and just crossed paths with it?
Yeah. So I was in insurance for about 5 years at a local independent agency here in my town and doing mostly commercial insurance. And an advisor at my firm had reached out to me because they were actually working with my in-laws and asked if I would be open to um, establishing an office in the city that I'm at. And was kind of happy where I was, but I just kind of thought, well, might as well give them an opportunity to just kind of share the experience and kind of the benefits. And so I sat down and kind of went over what I did, what they did, and it really kind of aligned. And the thought process of helping people, but also being able to do that on a deeper level than I was doing now, really stood out to me. And so, I started, let's say, a little before 2018, started from scratch, and been going at it now in my fourth year, about to be five this coming fall.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. And you're loving it so far?
I am. I really, like I said, I just got back from a meeting with a client now who just retired, and just kind of going over the plan that we put in place and just kind of checking in with her. And so being able to kind of have those conversations with people and help them through some of these most, challenging milestones in their life is really where I get the fulfillment out of it. So.
Okay. Awesome. Very good. So at some point you became aware of advisors. When was that? Just out of curiosity. I always like to find out. It's usually the Power Hour or one of the summits we did, but just interested.
Yeah. I think it was even before that. I would say it was probably through Facebook, maybe even the end of last year, maybe beginning of this year, and then just through following the page, and also maybe kind of entering my information in and kind of getting the follow up from you all, and like I said, then joining the Power Hour. That's what kind of made me transition to actually joining. So
awesome. Great. It's always interesting to hear. All right. I know we got some people coming in now. So Taliana, New Jersey. Cool. All right. So anyone that's watching, let's see where you're at. And again, comments, questions, concerns, give Josh some love and appreciation for being here with us. It's always, great when people take time out to share some of their secrets with us and kind of what's working and what's not. So hopefully you glean a lot of great information from today. All right. So I'm curious as to, like, you got a great niche, and I was kind of looking over that, and I really liked where you go with that. I'm curious, in the preceding years, defining advisors, specifically jumping into the Shift Accelerator, did you have a niche that you were thinking about? Were you thinking all riches and niches, or was there something else you were doing, or just, hey, whoever I can get?
Well, it was that at least for the first year or two, right? You as an advisor may understand that, but
Sure.
it's a good question because the more I followed people like Jeremiah and other people that help out advisors, they talk so much about finding a niche. And so I would say probably even before I joined, about a year before I joined, maybe a little bit longer, that's how I came across project managers, and really did a lot of studying into that as far as what I wanted to do. And so it was joining with you all actually had that in mind of project managers, and just kind of saying with the person I spoke to was at advisors was, well, we can kind of help you really transition that and have more success than what you're having now. And so that's kind of
Yeah.
what brought me on. And but yeah, project managers, it was something I had looked into probably about a year before I joined.
Okay. And I'm just going to share my screen very quickly and just share, what screen is that? That's screen 3. Just I wanted to show people what you did because I think it's really interesting. This is going to be a tear down on profile, but I think a couple things you did really, the banner image just pops right out. I have this conversation a lot. I'm curious, did you do this banner or did you have someone do it?
Yeah. I think I tried it first and then I saw how awful it was. And so I just reached out to Fiverr and had someone
Okay.
put it together. Yeah.
Okay. It looks great. It looks very professional. And it's funny because I've had this conversation with several advisors this week. Hey, I'm just going to speak frankly here. I can tell you did your banner. And that's a big piece
Exactly.
to this, right? And I think, this one's very professional. You can see how it kind of pops out there right away. The graphic, I think exactly, you can see how they match together here. Too busy managing projects to focus on your own finances? Like, great question, right? The answer is probably yes. We're all too busy to do anything.
Sure.
And specifically how you're targeted to, financial or project managers. I also like the term as your financial team leader. I think
Mhm.
that's cool. It probably goes to the process of which you do. You probably have a kind of a very holistic process where you're kind of managing different things for advisors. So you can tell those things just from reading this, which is great. And then
Yeah.
obviously you jump right into the project manager down here. So, I just wanted to show this. We're not going to deep dive this, and you did a great job, obviously, based on the results you're having. You did a great job. But just for the sake of everyone watching, I just wanted to kind of show that real quick. And I think, one of the things I love about your story and others that come to us, that they know their niche, you see they get off to a much quicker start.
Mhm.
And I want to spend a little time with here because, like you said, you're already working in this niche for about a year. So there's things you were learning, I'm assuming, based on project managers. So you probably, probably understand, is that where your message came from, what you learned during that year of working with project managers?
It is. Yeah. And I actually or do have a client that is a project manager. And so when I was kind of going through that process, and I've been doing a lot of study into, who I wanted to target. And when I sat down with her and her husband, and she shared more about what she did and kind of the struggles that she has. But I also kind of got to see from working with her how she likes to work with people as well. It all just kind of clicked. And I thought,
Yeah,
this is perfect because it's not something that everyone's doing. And not say that it couldn't be done if it was, but
yeah,
it really just kind of all fell into place that way. And so I kind of had a little bit of help from a current client. And then from there, it's just been kind of, trying to join as many professional networking events that they have and so forth. And so just kind of getting involved and having more project manager clients and talking more with them about, what challenges are they facing and so forth. So yeah, that year kind of really helped give me some more,
yeah.
knowledge and so forth. So.
And I think that's really one of the things that we try to drive home is that you're getting feedback, whether it's verbal or not, whether you're getting responses to your messages or not. Like, there's feedback coming in at all times, and as you're asking for it and paying attention to those details, as you see in the ways we're going to talk about. That's why I think you're having so much success. I mean, I was looking at your numbers; are just phenomenal. We'll talk about that as well, but just doing really well there. So very cool. And again, so we got more and more people piling in here. It's interactive, guys. We really love to hear your comments. This is for you as much as just kind of working with Josh here. So please, if you got any comments or thoughts, throw them in there as we're going along. As always, make sure you show Josh some love. I see Kevin from Arizona, surprise Arizona coming in now too. So anyone's coming in, announce yourselves. Let us know. Ask any questions you got. So you got that niche, and I think the other thing I really like, and this is on the heels. So last week we did a 3-day challenge, and it was my favorite things to do. And we had a couple hundred advisors participate in that. We really helped build these kind of foundational principles of what we're talking about here: that knowing your niche, knowing that message. And so you came into our program. So I guess let's talk about that a little bit. You became familiar with our Shift Accelerator program, decided to take that, and you said right before we kind of looked at your profile was, hey, we kind of help you. I call it put it on steroids. I don't know how to say it better, right? Hey, you're doing this by yourself. You got a message. We can help you get it out there to the masses. And so that was kind of the appeal of coming into the program. Was there anything else that kind of caught your eye in the program?
Yeah, that's a good question. One of the things that really stood out to me, because I'm sure a lot of advisors and other people would agree that we get a ton of, people reaching out saying we can help you, right? And we can do this, that, and the other. But the thing that was really different with advisors and Jeremiah is that more than any other place I'd heard from, you all had my attention, and the way that you followed up with me and just everything that you did to kind of show me kind of, hey, how you work with advisors really stood out to me. And again, the power hours and stuff like that helped out a lot, but it just kind of came across like Jeremiah and you all really wanted to not only make a living, but have a genuine, sincere want to actually like help us, right? And really try to, and just that really resonate with me, because that's what I hope my clients feel as well. Is not only am I, hey, yes, I like to make a living, but I truly care about them and want them to succeed and their financial goals. And so that kind of really resonated with me, and kind of why I decided to that. Plus, like you said, the steroids of message out there. So.
Great. Well, let's park on that for a second. So I got a question. We got everyone watching here. Scott from Chicago. Hello, sir. So what did Josh just say? I want to park here for a second, because I think that this is part of our shift, one of our core tenets of what we practice and preach in the shift program. And I just got done saying we're getting feedback, and you just said something I thought was perfect. What one of the questions you have, and one of the things we want to do in this teardown and talk about, so we can kind of go into this now. And anyone out there, what did Scott just say that kind of resonated, that made you listen a little bit more about maybe some things you should be doing? Let's see. I know we got a delay here, but let's see who's participating. We need participants here. Let's go. Wait, it's Thursday. All right, let's see. We got some coming in. I don't see. You guys aren't participating like normal. Where are we at? All right. You said something really interesting that I want to park on here, because a couple things. Number one, you said one of the things that stood out, the program itself, but how we kept following up with you. We stayed in touch with you. We showed we wanted to work with you and help you. We weren't just in it to make money. We were there to actually help you and follow up with you. I think that is a big thing that's missing and lost, even inside our program. It's something we preach to our members very consistently. And you see the way we build it. So, for example, the messages that you send out, Josh, they're sent out. And this being in the program, there's a sequence of messages. They kind of build on each other many times, right? And then we talk about following up. We're building a database that we follow up with afterwards. And this is key, right? You got this great message to project managers, right? You've got this great niche that's working for you. And advisors, we practice what we preach here, right? So very similarly, we're taking the group of people that are our niche, financial advisors like yourself, and we're applying the same things. We're providing content. We're staying in touch. We're giving information. These things are very important. And when you have a message like that, and you have the ability to build out what we're talking about here, I think that's key. And you talk about following up. And here's the example I always use, right? 80% of people buy from the last person they spoke to. So why is that? You're a great salesman. You convince somebody, right? That's not me. I'm not a salesman, right? I was always, follow-up was key, because it's about timing to me. When that person needs they need to think of you first. And so that's the idea here that we're going about. So, in regards to following up and doing all that stuff, it doesn't happen overnight. Now you do get those chances that do happen overnight, but you're prospecting to hundreds of people a week that fit your ideal market. That if they consistently hear from Josh Sweeley, and I think you call yourself let me get it right, financial advisor serving project manager, right? That's your focus.
Yeah.
And if they're consistently hearing from the project manager advisor, this is what's going to build that familiarity. It's going to build the ability to repeat that message, the consistency in them hearing it. And that way, when the timing is right, when they change jobs, when they need help, when they're overwhelmed with all the projects they're working on, they think of Josh and they reach out to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a big part of the follow-up process of not only just someone says they're interested, I send a message and move on. It's following up for days, months, and years afterwards and building that database. So I hope everyone's listening, because I think that's by far, I think, the biggest benefit to what we do inside of the Shift Accelerator program.
Chris, can I say something on that real quick?
Yeah, I would love it.
Okay. So, and as I was talking and we were kind of sharing, or I was sharing success, one of the things we didn't get to, and one of the things I'm probably most excited about from joining this program, is just what you mentioned, just the amount of people now that I have that I can follow up with as time goes on. Because as I've been in the business now, like I said, almost 5 years, one of probably the biggest keys to my success has been the follow-up. Like, I have clients that it took a year, 2 years to get, just because of timing. And so I knew that going into it. And so now, because of what I learned through, the SHIFT program, in fact, it was something you mentioned in one of the modules, to really come back with a response that they have an advisor, not at the moment. Now I have a way to continue to follow up with them. And so I'm getting, a lot of qualified prospective clients that I can add and continue to follow up with. So I'm really excited about, that opportunity moving forward.
Yeah. And that should be very exciting, right? The low-hanging fruit of people that are coming to you and saying yes, and you're having conversations with the appointments you're getting. We'll get into your success right now, actually. That stuff's great, but the long-term value you're creating and building for yourself, Jeremiah and I talk about it a lot, is that the advisor that has their own database that they can go to and that they can consistently, it's a well, right? You can just kind of go into it, and the larger it is, the better. So you're not hitting up everybody, right? We all got to make a living. If you've got 100 people, you're hitting up all the time trying to sell them, they're gonna get pretty tired of it. You got 10,000, and you got that law of large numbers in there, and it's just a timing. Hey, this person needs help, and you're just helping people who need help, and you're just the guy that's there, that resource. That's huge, and that's the goal here. So thanks for those words. Savita, I knew you'd be here, right? Thank you. We got some comments going. Savita from Florida. Scott, his comment was really good too, and I think this is something you meaning the advisor, provides so much value that it's incredible, but it's up to us to do the work. And I think that's really true. There's so many, not so many of us, but there's a lot of us out there trying to market, and that's why we teach the specific things that we do. Because when you can be that resource to a single group that sees you as that resource, you become referable, and you're able to value yourself a little bit more too. Instead of just taking business wherever it's coming from, when you can create that consistency and have that continually coming in, you don't have to devalue your value. If you charge $3,000 for a plan, but man, I haven't seen a prospect in 3 months and I need some money, I'll do it for free. I'll do the rollover. Right, and whatever it is, we devalue ourselves, and this gives you that gives you that power back. So I think this is all very good. So Scott, thanks for that comment. All right, let's talk about your success, because I really, and I do have a question, because I see you're doing a lot with third degree messaging, and you're killing it with third degree messaging. Is that? I'm just wondering if that's something that has kind of just been working for you, or it's just where you're focused, and that's kind of what you've been building up, or is it just, hey, it's just working that way, you weren't even aware of it?
No, I have noticed that. So, yeah, it's a good point. Again, just kind of coming into the program, learning all the different ways to utilize, first, second, third degree connections. I just thought, okay, well, let's just try to, utilize all of it, because I'm not doing complex sequencing, which some people that may not know what that is if they're not part of the program, but
Sure.
basically not putting a lot of email involvement with it. But no, it's just, again, just kind of figuring that out, adding it to the other campaigns that I'm doing. And it's just, I don't know why, it just seemed to get a lot of good response. And part of that's probably been from the, the messaging that you all provided and I just kind of used that, and it just seems to get a good response. So
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. I'm gonna read. So just for comparison purposes, kind of our benchmark for a response rate is 7%. That's a solid response rate. Below that, we want to increase a little bit. Above that, it's great. 8, 9, 10 is awesome. I'm gonna read your response rates from these campaigns that I'm seeing. 25%, 32%, 26%, 37%, 31%. You have a new one here that looks like it's 5%, but that's just a couple weeks old, so I'm sure that will increase here. So I mean, you're averaging about a little over 30% probably in response rates. So what does that mean, right? In this teardown, what does that mean? So you're right. Our messaging, I always tell people we do 80% of the work for you. We got proven templates. We know the structure. We know how it should be done. It's up to you to add that little personal spin to it that really gives it that authenticity. But really that provides a lot of the results on the back end. So we do most of the upfront work, the hard work of just kind of figuring out the formula, and then you put your spin on it, which is great partnership, right? But what this tells me is your message is resonating, right? And now, obviously, not all 30+% are saying, yes, let's meet, Josh, right? There are people, I'm not interested, whatever. But the fact that it's that high shows that it's catching people's eyes. It's just not the right time. This is why I really am excited about your future, because all these people are seeing value in what you do enough to reply to you.
Yeah.
At a 4x rate, right? Almost 4 times the normal rate we see. And so that's where there's a lot of value being created inside of your messaging to this niche, and it's really resonating with them, which is tremendous. And so tell everybody, you're averaging, how many appointments a week are you averaging?
Yeah, I would say it's probably about 2 to 3 appointments a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And you're still relatively, we tell people kind of that first 90 days, which you're just kind of still in. I think, yeah, you're just in that from what I'm seeing here. You're only about 60 days in from campaigns. So that in 60 days is kind of where it just starts to mature. Past 9 days, it really matures, in that 90 to 6 month period, that 180 days is where you do a little bit refining, but that consistency starts to kick in. And after 6 months, just kind of takes off, because now you've got this, just that snowball, right? Rolling down a hill of activity and names and follow-ups and all that stuff. So you have a great appointment rate already. That's going to continue to improve. You've already closed business. So you had rollovers of 300,000. You got another 400,000 coming from that.
Yeah.
You have another sale coming. So in your pipeline, about how much is in your pipe right now, additional to that?
From an AUM standpoint, I'd say over $1 million at the moment.
Okay, awesome. And I know you're on a couple other policies too. That you said you had a policy issue as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a verbal agreement at the moment, but I just, don't always count that until it really happens. But that would be kind of more of a commission base deal there. I don't, I'm probably more focused on AUM, but just the way the situation worked out with that one. But yeah, that would probably be enough to, pay for, the cost of the program and so forth. So.
Yeah, that's great. We got a good question here. So, are these chats that you're getting, are these specific to the work that you do as an advisor? Are they coming in, are these appointments going pretty well as far as, hey, how can you help me? Or are there other things going on there?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. That's probably something I would ask as well. I'd say it's a mix. I'd say they're more curious about, like I said, the messaging, why project managers, how I work with people. Again, just kind of wanting to learn more about what I do and just kind of connect in general. But I would say there's definitely some in there as well that, say, hey, yeah, would like to talk with you. And so just kind of going through that process with them too of, what are they looking for? Are we even a right fit? So that's some of it too of, realizing, well, maybe that's, this is what you need, and this is kind of what we do. Maybe it's not the right fit. So and that's what I try to put that spin on it as well, to let them know, hey, it's it's just a chat, no commitment. So again, a lot of it is just kind of an intro, let's talk, but with some, hey, I actually do need to speak with you. And that's how some of the businesses come forward already.
Yeah, and I think I mean a couple thoughts on that. Number one, the better you are at spelling out the USP and creating the value around that, the more those appointments are going to be, hey, how can you help me with your service, right? So
Yeah.
it tells you of that, which we see. Can it be better? Everything can always be better, but that's great. The other thing here is this is where again we do a lot of this work for you, right? These 15-minute coffee chats we call them. These are micro commitments. Someone who sees value is more likely to give you 15 minutes than an hour, right? Hey, I want an hour meeting or do a fact find, right? I don't know you. I don't know if it's worth it yet. I'm not giving you an hour. Time's precious. So these 15-minute chats, that's why we ask for that. It's a micro commitment. Most people are willing to do that for something they see value. Hey, I waste 15 minutes of my life. It's either great or it's not, but it's only 15 minutes. It works the other way too here, right? And I'm not sure if you've experienced this, but it also gives you the opportunity to back out or to change course if they're not the right fit. That's why we do this. So if you have an appointment and they're trying to sell you, or they just don't seem like a good fit, or they're wishy-washy, whatever it may be, all right, hey, that's the end of our 15 minutes. I enjoyed the conversation. Let's make sure we connect in the future, and then you're out. So there's a reason we do it that way for both sides. It allows you to get more commitments to have those chats, but also gives you an out. So thank you for that question. Very good question. The other thing I wanted to point out here again is just like the value of what you're bringing to the table. When people see value, they don't necessarily, it doesn't create urgency, right? There's a difference between value and urgency. And we talk about this a lot. And what you're doing is showing them urgency. And I think the reason is because you're hitting the problem, right? We talk a lot about problem solution. And we talked about how you decided on this niche. You've been working it for a while. Your clients were giving you feedback you listened to. I think that problem, I think, is they are managing so many things. When you're a project manager, you have all these projects, you're juggling all these balls. The last thing you want to do is go home at night and juggle a couple more between your finances, my 401k, my IRA, my advisor. And I think you hit the nail on the head. And that's why you're getting a little bit of urgency, because they're saying, oh, Josh understands my problem. He can help me. I need to talk to Josh. He works specifically with people like me. So that's something you did really well as well to kind of start getting these appointments out of the gates.
Yeah, I would say one example that sticks out to me as well with one of the chats I had. We ended up talking, and he actually ended up already being a client at the firm I'm at now. And so that was one of the situations where I kind of just said, well, stick with where with that advisor, because we don't take business. But one of the things that kind of stuck out was the fact that he said, oh, well, my advisor's been trying to call me and I haven't been able to call him back, but yet I had messaged him and that he joined on a 15-minute chat. And it was, again, because of the dynamic of him being a project manager and kind of knowing his schedule, and that he prefers, this type of communication. And so, again, that's kind of, that's something that just stuck out to me a lot. Just why, knowing your niche of kind of how they like to be contacted and so forth kind of helps out.
Yeah, that's a really cool story, right? I mean, here having someone, most advisors aren't connecting like that in most cases when you're hearing. So the fact that was happening, you were getting preference there is really cool. That's awesome. We see a lot of those little things, just changing profiles. We'll see people get opportunities just because if someone feels like you specialize in them, their problems, you have solutions for them specifically to their problems, they're willing to take that time and listen because they don't want to miss out on it. That fear of missing out. It's like, again, that's why we did 80% of the work. We have it all there. Now it's just you putting that spin on it. So that's awesome. I'm wondering, Josh, I talk a lot about the feedback we're getting. So I'm wondering what other things you may have learned with all these appointments you're having. I know there's more and more coming. Are you learning other things as you're having these calls that's making you better at them? You're able to pick some things out or transition them, to that second meeting a little bit better, just with kind of what you're learning as you're going along.
Yeah, that's a good question. If I'm just thinking about specifically the calls, I would say maybe just from, the program too, of kind of getting on and just really not assuming anything and just starting off the conversation with, hey, what are you, looking to get out of this conversation, and just make sure that's on the same page, because sometimes that's been a little disconnect there. And I think it's just more of what people see and all that. So, and if that's just more of a chat, or if it is, they do want to talk, then I know that up ahead of time, and I'm not, know kind of how this conversation is going to go. So I would say that's probably been the biggest thing. But again, like you said, it's more on, okay, what's the next step from here? And again, just being in the niche that I'm at, they kind of appreciate of, okay, what's the process, right? What's the next step from here? So just kind of outlining that if that's of interest, if and if not, it's kind of more of a, all right, well, this is what we can do and provide value in the meantime, and we can kind of follow up, and that's always been that's also an outcome that I've seen a lot of too. So.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think, that speaks further to this niching, right? I think a lot of people think, I mean, I've had some people tell me crazy. I had someone come in one time and like, hey, my son just had an orthodontics appointment. Orthodontists make pretty good money. I'm going to pick them as my niche. wait a second here. All right. So I think, what you just said, again, as we're talking about this stuff we're getting, these little nuggets, this is the nugget. I hope you guys are taking notes on this, because what you're doing is you're actually preaching to the niche, right? I went through a great training. It was the disc training, right? And it talks about personality types and everything. That's kind of the similar thing here. Someone who's a project manager is very detail oriented, has processes, likes that kind of thing. So when they see that in their advisor, they're more likely to resonate with that person, and they probably got their chevrons built out and all these things. And so if you're following a similar path and showing them that organization, those are things that you're subconsciously kind of reinforcing their decision to work with you. So those are all really good things that when you pick that niche and you really know it and live it and understand it, that whole picture becomes very clear. And these are all, I talk about red flags a lot. You'll see this if you're just picking a niche and you're providing value and you're trying to figure out, you'll see that if it's very easy to create value, right? Everything we do, we create value. Advisors, serve a very important role. Agents, whatever you're doing, is a very important role in finance, right? To help people. Value isn't enough to get it over the line. So you'll see things like inconsistencies from my message to my banner to my profile or my USP. There's inconsistency there. Those are all red flags, right? And especially if I'm a type of person that likes consistency or organization like your target market would, those little red flags are going to cause me to just turn off, kind of ghost you, right? Or similarly, if you've nailed the whole process and you got all your messaging down pat, but then they talk to you and you're a different person, you're real buttoned up and tight in your messaging, and all of a sudden you're on the phone, you're real laid back and friendly and joking, there's a disconnect. And these are all little red flags that pull off. So you need to create that consistency, and being authentic, knowing your niche are all very important things that I don't think enough people put thought into or understanding. And so my question in all that on all those words is, did you, or is that just something because you understood the niche and the type of person you are, just kind of formed naturally and you're seeing that now?
No, I would say and I thought you brought up some good points, but no, that's really what stuck out to me. Like I said, as I was talking with that client that I enjoy working with, and kind of just realizing, okay, this may be a pattern or a consistency that other project managers have as well. And so as y'all talk about, to the point where you get to a part in your business where things are going really well, you have a lot of clients, you need to think about, well, who do I enjoy working with? Because if you're an advisor, just because someone has money doesn't mean they're a good person to work with or you're going to enjoy working with, right? So the fact that this is kind of how they, and again, it's just it's a niche. Everyone can be a little different, but from what I've seen is that most project managers, like the processes and so forth, and this is how they like to work with people, which just really fit well with, me in my office. And so that's why I just said, okay, well, that's again, part of the reason why I just clicked with me. And I thought, okay, this is who I want to target. So.
Yeah, I think that's great. All good stuff here. So thanks for all that, Josh. I hope everyone is getting a lot of good information here. Again, show some Josh love here. You didn't have to do this. Appreciate spending time. And I think, one of the things that, again, I appreciate always people coming in and spending time with us in these teardowns. I enjoy them because we get to go a little bit deeper into what's working, what's not, what you're seeing and everything. But one of the things that's great is when you see people having success like yourself, and I think we overcomplicate things. Advisors tend to overcomplicate things, right? Like, all right, I got to do this and then this and all this, and they make it so big in their mind that it's very hard to even start or find a place to start. So that's why I think we always, action taking is just so important. You've obviously taken the action. Shout out to Alina, who is your CSM, who works with you, who kind of brought to light the success you're having within our group. We've been following you, and I think that speaks to you just being an action taker. So I'm wondering if you just have any advice for people that are sitting on the fence or trying to decide what they're going to do and just need to do something, because it's not that hard, right? It's pretty simple once you just put your mind to actually putting it to working a system that's already been
Yeah.
established for you.
Yeah. And as you were kind of looking at my, I guess my entry point, and then when my campaign started, you kind of saw where there was a few weeks in between, and I really kind of came in. I know I've watched other teardowns where people have come in and like, they're up and running in like a week. Well, with what I had going on and everything, I just wasn't able to get it up that fast. My campaign,
Sure.
that is. So yeah, I mean, again, if you're willing to spend just a little bit of time and can kind of time block that into your week, it's definitely something that's manageable. And like I said, once you get it going, then like you said, after some time goes by, it just starts to really snowball and pick up. So I would just say, again, it's just a matter of a question of, and I think that's what the person's asked me when I was talking with them about joining was, can you spend, 30 to 60 minutes an hour a week, working on this to get the program going. And I thought, yeah, sure. So again, just if you can do that, then you're looking to kind of build up on what you already have and put steroids to your message, then I think it's something you should consider.
I love it. I love it. Follow-up question to that, because you talk about, we say half hour to an hour a day and kind of launching it. You're kind of past that. You're in the kind of maintaining mode. I'm wondering how much time, just for the people that you have to invest daily in the program, not necessarily leads and following up. I wouldn't, I don't think that's part of running the program or the technical side of it. Just the technical updating searches and running campaigns and things like that.
Yeah, unless I'm wrong in this, I don't spend much time in that at all. So that part's pretty much, it's not much time at all. It's really, like you said, just following up with people, which is, part of the job anyway. So.
Yeah, well, thank you. I just want to, we tell people, hey, you got to invest that hour or so up front, because it's doing the work, right? Back to Scott's comment, you got to do the work. It's up to you to kind of implement and do that work up front. Once you got it, once you got that system, I mean, it's like 30 minutes every 2 weeks or so, and just maintaining it, making sure things are running smoothly. And other than that, you're just following all the leads and prospect, which that's what we're paid to do, right? So, so that's awesome.
No, that would be fair. Like you said, 30 minutes every couple of weeks.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, Josh, any last comments or words of advice for anyone kind of sitting on the fence or trying to decide what to do, or just kind of from your experience?
Yeah. Again, I mean, I'm happy to feel free to send me a message if you like. I'm happy to kind of talk to you and give some more feedback. But if you're just looking to even, increase and kind of go a little bit beyond what you're doing now, I feel like it's worth it. And again, based off everything else I've already kind of said, I hope that kind of speaks for itself. But I'm happy to offer any more insight other than what I've already have.
Awesome. All right. Well, Josh, as always, appreciate spending time. Appreciate, what this means to the group and to all the people that watch and listen to this. I know we get feedback for weeks and months after these, because people are continuing to watch them and everything. So thank you for taking the time. Everyone give Josh some love. If you want to learn more about Advisors, our program, the Shift Accelerator, it's meetwithadvisors.com. We'd love to have a chat with you. One of our coaches there will chat with you and just kind of, similar to Josh, kind of give you a analysis of what you're doing, what we can do to help you get to where you want to be and put it on steroids. So, Josh, again, thank you, sir. I hope you have a great week, and I hope to talk to you in the future about more of your success.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thanks, everyone.